Eiyuden Chronicles can be a tough game, especially on the harder difficulties, but fear not, I have you covered. Hello and welcome to the Critically Curious. I'm a monk, and today I'm going to be giving you my top tips and things that I wish I knew before I started playing. Now, much like other JRPGs, you may be familiar with Final Fantasy or Pokemon being but two. Talking to everyone that this game has around you is very important. You can get items from all of them, you can pick up side quests, and you can even recruit random characters. This is a game where there are over 100 recruitable companions, so missing one can be very easy. I would also mention that it is a good idea to revisit old locations after hitting milestones within the main story, because other companions and other events do pop up. The next tip would be item space is limited, like severely limited. So before you go ahead and pick up 50 health potions, like something I may have done, just remember you may be discarding them when you jump in a dungeon. Because, like I said, item space is extremely limited, so keeping hold of those old items may not be such a good idea. And speaking of dungeons, saving your game can be tricky at times. Much like Final Fantasy, you have to find a save crystal in order to save your game. So when you enter a dungeon, it can be a long time between save crystals. Being aware of this going in can be very helpful. Now, this game does have an autosave feature, but that autosave feature is not something you're going to be wanting to rely on. Now, we've mentioned already that this game can be rather difficult. The combat definitely rallies up the further you go on, and on the harder difficulties, it gets hard rather quickly. So good advice to you is get yourself a couple of healers, get yourself a couple of casters. Having more than one is a very good idea because you're going to be needing to use them rather a lot, especially in the bosses, the random bosses that you get in this game. Some of them could be very tough, so having a backup healer and not relying on those health potions is essential. And doubling down on that, saving your casters MP, their magic points, the system that they use in order to use magic and fire and water, for instance, is a very, very good idea. Using it solely for healing is advisable. And while we're on the subject of combat, using auto battles is actually something that I wouldn't shy away from within this game. Now, in most games, I am against auto combat, and I fully understand why, but this game has so much combat and so many random encounters, most of which are, I'd say 95% of which you're going to be able to beat very, very easily. So taking advantage of the auto battles is going to help you out, and you can even go into the settings and change how your party will behave in those auto combats, meaning you can save that all important MP for the boss battle that will be coming up. Now, something that can be very easily overlooked is battle formations. When it comes to Eiyuden Chronicles, you have a front line and a rear line. Now, the companions and the characters that you use within your formations have certain areas in which they are better. So, for instance, if you have a ranged companion, they would obviously be put in the rear line. But if we take Francesca, for instance, she is a medium ranged unit, and of course she goes in the rear line. Now what that means is that she can hit anybody in that front line that is attacking. If you want to hit the back line as well, you're going to need a long range unit. And there are two places that you're going to be looking to identify these different companions and where you should be putting them. Now, the first is just under their name. As you can see, Francesca is a backline character. And the second is just under their weapon. As you can see, slash damage, and it does a medium range. Now, if you are a frontline character, that means you can hit the first line or the second line. And it can be really easy to miss this information as you're playing through. So if you have, don't feel bad. I kind of did myself too for the first couple of hours. Now, the next little tip is something that I did not know until I was 8 hours into my game. And that's that every now and again you will get story missions. In fact, more often than not, you will get story missions, story quests, and you will get a companion that is locked into that quest, and you'll be forgiven for thinking they have to be in your party. However, that is only partially true, as this game actually has an attendant feature where you can put all quest locked characters into those slots, and as long as they are in those slots, that means that you can have your front line and your rear line made up of companions that you actually want to be bringing along. I would also mention that yes, there are over 100 recruitable companions. However, don't be afraid to use those that are of a significantly lower level than your main group. You're going to find as you go through this game, your main guys, the people that you like, are going to be leveling up. They're going to be leveling up pretty fast, and quite often you'll run into an area, perhaps you just didn't go there perhaps when you should have, and you'll pick up a companion that is maybe half the levels of your main roster, and you'll be forgiven for thinking that they are useless or it's going to take a lot of work to level them up. The way Eiyuden Chronicles works, however, is that those lower tier characters are going to level up very fast. So if you pick someone up and perhaps they're level 6, you've got a party of level 14s, don't be afraid to put them in your party and level them up. You level up very quick in this game. They level up even quicker than your main cast, and so don't be afraid to use who you like. But guys, that is all the tips that I have for you. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and of course subscribe to the channel that we don't miss out on more videos just like this. I'd like to do a little shout out for the Discord as well. We do have a active and growing Discord. You'll be able to find the link down in the comments. I know that a couple of people within the Discord are absolutely playing this game and enjoying it. I myself am in there as well. So if you want to join and start chatting with players that are playing the same type of games as you, then you know where to come. We also have a ton of other channels for a ton of other different games, so it's a great place to hang out. We now have over 500 members, so yeah, big shout out for the Discord. But until next time, I've been a monk who's been Eiyuden, and I will see you in the next video real soon. Until then, take it easy and happy gaming.